Ever wonder what it might be like to find yourself strapped to a chair in a snuff movie? Well, wonder no more, because today's Sick Flick is gonna make you a star. Welcome to Sick Flicks, where I take a deep dive into the cinematic sewer to help you embrace your inner gore geek by examining some of the goriest and most disturbing movies ever made. I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, and today we're covering Kim Jin-Won's underseen Korean splatter film, The Butcher. I first came across this one on DVD back around 2008. The cover featured a dude with a chainsaw and a pig mask, and it immediately reminded me of Rockstar's stealth snuff PlayStation 2 game Manhunt. That game featured a naked dude named Pigsy running around in a pig mask with a chainsaw late in the game. Needless to say, this remains one of my all-time favorite video games. Kim's film appears to be intimately familiar with Manhunt and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but this isn't just another fake snuff film. The twist is that the victims are wearing cameras strapped to their heads, making this a first-person snuff experience. Why hasn't anyone turned this into a ride at Universal Studios? Call me. Anyway, it doesn't always work, but it's definitely audacious. But just how sick is The Butcher? Let's get to the gore and find out. The film opens with a first-person perspective shot of some random dude taking a piss. Oh man, I needed that. My teeth were starting to float. Eventually, he makes his way to this pen area, where he finds not livestock, but 4 bound and gagged human beings. Each individual has a video cam mounted on their head. I'm sure this was a lot harder to pull off back in the days before everyone had a GoPro. Anyway, if you guess this is some sort of film production, give yourself a screenwriter's credit. Man, watching movies in standard def in 2019 sure is tough. It's like looking at stuff through a pair of glasses with the wrong prescription that are also covered in Vaseline. Oh well, it seems unlikely that this film is ever going to get a Blu-ray remaster, so I guess beggars can't be choosers. These 2 members of the production team are waiting for someone to arrive, so they pass the time by checking out Chekhov's pistol.
이거 보셨습니까? 뭐?
Wonder if that's going to be important later. Place your bets now. They're passing that thing around like it's a loaf of bread. I'm not really sure these guys are practicing good gun safety. While they're busy figuring out whether or not they should join the NRA, the trussed-up guests are starting to wake up, and they're not happy. Bong here is about to send them back to Dreamland with his trusty sledgehammer, but the director shows up and puts a stop to that. I mean, you can't have your snuff film victims looking like they've been beat with a sledgehammer before the movie even gets rolling, right? Director Kim is especially happy that they got a girl for this production. I mean, no one wants a total sausage party in their snuff film. That's like the first thing they teach you at snuff film school. Turns out Kim's got some more requests for future projects. They talk about these people like they're game or livestock, which sort of makes sense given the locale, I guess. With all that squared away, Kim sits down and appraises his cast. Look guys, this is going to be my magnum opus, so I need you to scream loud, fight hard, and die gloriously.
동식아, 그 휠체어는 찾아왔어?
Wheelchairs? Is he kidding? These people are going to need body bags by the time this thing is over. With their shooting schedule for the day set, things are ready to roll. Now all we need is our star. Bong here is unhooking the husband and the wife team for their big scene when the husband makes a break for it. Run, Forrest, run! He doesn't get far before someone knocks him out and brings him back. Bong then secures the wife and we get our first look at the film's star. It's Pigsy from Rockstar's Manhunt. Pigsy doesn't like the smell of the woman, so that necessitates a change in plans. Who knew that even snuff film movie stars were such divas? They accommodate Pigsy by going back for one of the fellows instead. Yeah, she blacked out after you hit her with a hammer. And now, the begging starts. This dude is pleading for them not to kill him, but the director's like, look, if you've seen any horror movies, you know how this works. You're the wrong gender to survive, and we've already got a final girl. This seems like a good time to point out the 2 things the Butcher has in abundance. Shaky camera work and screaming. Oh, and a chainsaw. We haven't gotten any real on-screen violence yet, so we might as well stop for some exposition. Hubby and wife basically inform us that they have no idea how they got here. They were just enjoying a quiet evening at home and then woke up here at the Spawn Ranch with cameras stuck to their heads. But is it that crazy? I mean, who amongst us hasn't woken up in some weird place after a night of binge drinking? Meanwhile, director Kim gets a call from his mom.
기도? 아, 교회 가시려고요? 네.
Sure, this guy makes snuff films in his spare time, but he's got a good relationship with God, and that's important too, right? Plus, he's a good son. Look at him helping out his mom when she says she can't find her Bible.
아, 성경책? 누구 거요? 제 거요? 아니면 어머니 거요? 아, 어머니 게 한번 씨발.
Someone clearly raised him right.
바쁘냐고? 아휴, 바빠.
Oh, you know, just making a movie where a guy in a pig mask cuts through people with a chainsaw. Another day on the grind. So, this movie hasn't shown us a whole lot on the gore front so far, but the sound work definitely gives you some mental images. Don't worry though, this is Sick Flicks, so you won't have to imagine the carnage for long. Why look, the director's back and he's gonna give his performers a hand. He also comes back with 2 helmets, meaning we're down 2 cast members already. Look, you guys are gonna have to put up more of a fight, otherwise this is gonna be a short film, and no one respects anything but feature-length productions around here. I guess we have some time to kill, literally, so we might as well look at the dailies. Man, these splatter effects are great. Then director Kim gives us his best Joe Pesci impersonation.
웃겨? 네? 너네 작품이 웃기냐?
But do I amuse you? Am I some sort of clown?
잘 나왔어요? 틀렸어.
Trust me, all of us creatives have been here. It'll be okay. Maybe you can save the project with the next 2 kills.
팔리긴 팔리지.
Or yeah, there's that. We'll watch any old crap. Some of us have even made a career out of it. Then he basically becomes Roger Ebert and says what we're all thinking.
예술성이 없어. 예술. 한마디로 예술성이 없다.
Man, that's harsh.
우리 저것들 데리고, 어? 예술 한번 제대로 해보자.
That's the spirit. Let's make some bloody art. With the cast super agitated, the director decides to help everyone calm down by passing out some drinks.
네. 돼지한테 내게. 이거 그건 탄 거 뭐예요? 돼지 발정제.
Wait a minute. I don't think that's the kind of drink he was expecting. This director clearly cares about his performers, though. He wants everything to be just right.
자, 흔들어가지고, 어? 가루 싹 퍼지게 해가지고, 다 먹여.
Yeah, he hates it when it doesn't get mixed. I mean, no one likes to chew their estrogen pig hormone. After that, Bong knocks out the dude with his hammer, then pulls him down the hallway into a room covered in plastic. Believe me, I've seen enough horror movies to know 2 things. Rooms covered in plastic and beds covered with rubber sheets on a tarp are never a good sign. Inside this new room, Bong and Kim are strapping our couple into some wheelchairs. I don't know what the point of that is, but I will say I like this new locale, if only because it seems much better lit than the previous room. Pigsy's here hanging out in the room too, and from the look of things, this party is about to get started. With our performer awake, filming resumes, starting with these close-ups while the man begs for his life. Again. Pigsy swapped out his chainsaw for some shears. I mean, if you want to graduate from cosplay barber college, you gotta practice. Wilbur here is just gonna give you a trim. This scene really highlights one of the things the Butcher does well. The first-person perspective cam definitely gives a sense of urgency and immediacy to the proceedings. Yeah, sometimes the camera work is so herky-jerky that it gives you a headache, but in this scene, it's quite effective. Anyway, the director's not buying this new altruistic husband bit.
너 아까는, 응? 수갑 풀어주니까 혼자 살겠다고 존나게 도망치더니만은.
I was going to get help. Yeah, that's it.
진상 떨고 있네, 진짜. 아이, 야.
He's not buying that either. So basically, the auditions for the victims in this movie had the actors cry, scream, and beg in front of a casting director, apparently. Yeah, it's great. You have a Shakespearean stage background. But I'm really looking for someone who can wet themselves in fear on command. Never let it be said that director Kim isn't a fair guy, though. He tells the man in the chair he's going to flip a coin to determine his fate.
그리고 뒷면이 나오면은 내가 너한테 기회를 한 번 준다.
While it sounds like the coin comes up heads, South Korean Monty Hall here tells the guy he gets one more chance to live.
네가 10분만 버티면.
I'll be honest, this new deal doesn't sound that great, but I'd take it if I were in his shoes or strapped into his wheelchair. The director starts the clock and Pigsy goes to his workbench. Dude is a master craftsman and wants to pick the right tool for the job. We start things off with a little hammer time. And man, I don't know if dude's gonna last 10 seconds, let alone 10 minutes. See? Director agrees. I'd tell the guy to walk it off, but he's still tied to the wheelchair. This amount of blood has to be a bit concerning, though. With 9 minutes left to kill, Pigsy starts helping the guy stretch out with these yoga poses. Just relax, this will totally open up your chakras, man. 6 minutes left. I hate to break it to you, but I think Pigsy here is more of a 2-minute dude based on the pacing of those thrusts. Told you he wasn't gonna last 6 minutes. The good news here is that part's over. The bad news is there's still time on the clock, so there's more pain coming. For our next scene, we're gonna perform a little amputation. Pigsy grabs the chainsaw and channels his inner Leatherface. Hope you like finger food, because this stuff is really fresh. I also hope this dude was right-handed, because if he's not and he survives this, wiping his butt is going to be challenging. Probably should just consider a bidet. Cut, look, I'm just not buying these screams. Let's try it with the other hand. This is the dude's breaking point. He's ready to throw in the towel, if he still had fingers. I'm not sure why you give up here. I mean, I get it. Losing fingers sucks. But surely quitting is only going to lead to something worse, right? You don't have much to lose, other than another 5 fingers. What would you guys do in this situation? Beg for mercy or tough it out in the hopes the director keeps his word? Let me know down in the comments section. And if you're digging this video and want more gore, stab that subscribe button while you're down there. The director is displeased by this turn of events, but decides that maybe they should punish the wife instead. He must really like this guy though, because he gives him yet another chance.
쌈박한 아이디어 떠올리면은 내가 너 살려줄게.
Say what you will about director Kim, but the guy's a real auteur. He doesn't want to keep recycling the same old kill scenes.
내가 배우 강간하다 죽이고 도저히 지금 새로운 아이디어 떠오르지 않거든.
This is your big chance to break into the exciting world of snuff filmmaking. And this is the first time on Sick Flicks where a character might actually get a screenwriter's credit of their very own.
간간하다가 팔다리 자르라고? 전 이미 다 써먹었어요.
Come on, man, you gotta be more creative than that. I'm not sure you're cut out for a career in the creative world of snuff filmmaking. The second idea is better, and the director likes it, but he hates that this dude is such a traitor.
죽어도 되니까 마누라만 살려달라는 놈이 지가 살려고 마누라 죽이는데 아이디어 놓고 앉아있어 저 새끼들.
But director Kim is a man of his word, and orders Bong to let him go. And like a total coward, he takes off, leaving his wife behind with Pigsy and company. Chivalry might be dead, ladies. He wanders into another room, taking time to wrap his hand in a dirty cloth, then discovers that the door won't open and the windows are barred. He does eventually find an open window and makes his escape, but you didn't really think it was going to be that easy, did you? Dude steps right into a bear trap. And I'd like to once again reiterate that I've seen a lot of bear traps in movies, but have never once seen them actually catch a bear. That streak continues here. And now we come to one of the butcher's most infamous scenes. Back inside, Pigsy and the crew decide the wife needs a visit to the optometrist and the diagnosis isn't good. This calls for an eye removal. On the upside, if she lives through this, she'll never have to decide what to be for Halloween again. Just put on that eye patch and be a pirate. Arr. Unlike her husband, the woman has no illusions about escaping. She just wants a quick death. Too bad for her, that does not appear to be in the cards. Except Pigsy has other plans as he runs over and starts using her like she's a human pincushion. Needless to say, the director's not a fan of improv. Now they're down their star victim, so it's time to go get the husband from his bear trap. He's managed to free himself from the trap without gnawing his leg off, but someone better call George Michael because he's never gonna dance again. He clearly doesn't feel too bad though, because he's playing hide and seek with Bong. Too bad he's terrible at picking out good hiding spots. The game then changes to tag, which he's equally terrible at. You're it. And really, are we even rooting for this shithead to get away? He not only left his wife behind, he outlined how they should torture her before they killed her. He's not exactly a sympathetic character. Anyway, with their last survivor recaptured, it's time to film the money shot and get to the rap party. Pigsy's gonna deliver the coup de grace with the chainsaw, but remember that pistol that Bong had at the start of the movie? Yeah, he suggests they use it here. You know, to keep things fresh. Before filming can commence, our star has some last words. Can you believe it? He still thinks they were gonna let him go.
너처럼 혼자 살겠다고 마누라 팔고 도망친 놈이 끝까지 살아나가면 내 영화가 뭐가 되냐.
The director and I are on the same page here, though. Normally, this is where you'd expect a Hollywood film to cop out and give you a happy ending. But not here. Shut it down, fellas. That's a wrap. I'm kidding. Bong's crappy homemade gun backfires in his face, and hubby here slinks away in the confusion while Pigsy just watches. He traipses through the dark building while making some noises that have to leave you wondering if he's even going to live long enough to get back outside. Eventually, he finds his dead wife, which leads to even more screaming. Then he stomps on the director's tapes. Man, everyone's a movie critic these days. But he's not done. He's in here wailing like an angry cat when the director and Pigsy come banging on the door like they're the big bad wolf. That's the bad news. The good news is he's got access to the tools and arms himself with a hammer. Rather than take on his captors directly, he smashes a mirror and finds another way out of the building. The crazy camera work here is disorienting, but the way he keeps looking between the escape route and his wife's dead body as he agonizes over whether or not to take her with him is a nice touch. But look, he's still terrible for leaving her in the first place. He makes his way through a field and eventually finds cars and a man in a stream. But what's this? That guy has a knife and a camera too. After a dizzying chase through a field and a nausea-inducing first-person fight sequence, our unlikely hero lands a knife blow to his attacker's gut. He then makes it to a car, but someone's coming up behind him. Probably the dude who owns the car. The Korean T-1000 gives a half-hearted chase, but our survivor's not stopping for that. He just drives off like this is GTA 5. Also, how's he working the gas pedal with that leg that got all messed up in the bear trap? Look, I'm starting to feel like this dude is going to survive this ordeal, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. After some more driving, he eventually just pulls over to sob. I've been to funerals with less sobbing than this movie. And what a cop-out of an ending. After a somewhat slow start, the butcher definitely picks up in the second half. I'm disappointed that two victims are dispatched with the chainsaw off-screen early on, and the ending offers no sense of closure or catharsis, but that second half does feature some pretty good gore. How good? Let's score it on the Gore Card and find out. In terms of gross anatomy, The Butcher offers up pretty much exactly what you'd expect from a film with this title. I mean, unless you were expecting a documentary about working in the meat department at your local supermarket. If that's what you're looking for, surprise! That's not this movie. Anyway, we're treated to some pretty good gore. The highlights include the severed hand, the Texas Chainsaw Finger Massacre, multiple hammer beatdowns, a stabbing, the old human in a bear trap, and one brutal eye removal. While the gore isn't quite on par with what you'd expect in a Japanese film of this type, The Butcher shows that South Korea can make fake snuff movies with the best of them. And for that, it earns 4 barf bags out of 5. This is definitely a sick flick. If you find yourself watching this and thinking, yeah, I could go for more Asian gore cinema, you'll want to check out my Japanese gore film playlist. So grab your sake and click this link on the screen. I'll meet you over there. Until next time, I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, bringing you all the splatter that matters.